So there are lots and lots of libraries for visualization that work very well with pandas and Python, but Plotly is my favorite. And Plotly has a large open source, so it's free to use, set of tools for creating some really nice charts and graphs. And if I asked you to, you could probably name three or four or five, or if you've had statistics and you've done this a lot, maybe a dozen different types of charts, right? A line chart, a bar chart, a pie chart. We know those. Plotly really sort of takes this to the next level and has tons of charts. And these are just what Plotly refers to as the basic charts. Now, most of these probably don't look super basic to you, but we've seen some of these scatter plots, line charts, bar charts. These are all examples from Plotly. And if you click on them, you can actually see the code to produce these from a data set. So, and you'll see as we go through this lecture today that it's actually quite easy to create a lot of these charts. So bubble charts, you may have seen these around the election. A Sankey diagram is something that a lot of people know when they see it, but don't necessarily know what it's called. This is good for tracking different groups of things over time and how they may merge and diverge from each other. So we've got those basic charts. We've also got statistical charts. Okay, error bars, box plots, histograms, violin plots. Some of these you may not have seen. This should look vaguely familiar to you. Right here, the scatter plot matrix is what we used to look at the iris classifications last time. So we've got all those. So those are just the first two categories here, but it also, Plotly also allows us to do scientific charts, financial charts, maps, which is really cool. The map part of Plotly seems like, man, that would be really hard to do a map where you color each state a different color based on a number or something. But for countries of the world and for states in the United States, Plotly can take as little data as just the name of the state and a number for each state, and it can use that to create a really cool map. But you can also put in geographical coordinates. You can add data. You can take a region of the map. It understands spatial map data, which is really cool. And it's not, we can't even understand how cool it is until you try to do something like that without a tool like Plotly, because it's crazy hard. It also has tools for AI, including even image recognition, which is pretty amazing to have that in an open source library. If you've been in a Tesla, you'll know that this is sort of how a Tesla sees the world around it. It identifies objects and pedestrians and all kinds of things like that. But there's all kinds of machine learning regression models, which is just what we were looking at last time. Bioinformatics. I mean, check out some of these 3D charts, and I'm actually going to show you some 3D charts. But look at this. Not just a 3D chart, but look at, you can take each one of these things and interact with it. You can rotate it around. You can, and all of these Plotly charts, if you see something you like, you can save them as a PNG file. So if I click on that and I hit save, then I can have a PNG file of that chart that I can then use in a report or a PowerPoint presentation or whatever. So this is really useful for all kinds of data analysis stuff. And then, of course, you can do what are called subplots, which is when you have multiple different types of plots. It interacts and integrates with Jupyter widgets. And you can even do what are called custom controls. So like I can use a slider or menus or things like that to impact the parameters of the charts. So they're very interactive, very cool stuff. And you can do all kinds of animations and things like that. So Plotly is really, really useful. Today, of course, we're just going to scratch the surface because that's kind of what we have time for. But we will get to see some of the things that Plotly can do.